If this is your first time in this live stream, we'll take a few moments to explain what this live is like and what is happening in it. This is called Suited Up. It's a weekly show that we do here on Meet Me. Essentially goes over creative content, people who are popular on the app, who are up and coming, and we bring them on as guests to talk about what they've done to get there, what they've done in the past. There's usually a lot of treasure drops. There's a lot of top badges. Our record's 70. So if you want to see all of Meet Me come together, our record is 70 top badges in one episode of Suited Up. So if you want to stick around and see the conversations, do all that, please stick around. We're going to wait a little bit for people to come in. Tell me how the sound is too. I have a new setup. All right, you guys want to see a secret? I'll show you a secret. This is breaking this is breaking the magic of what we do here. But look, we got the new setup going, and so we're gonna get that all taken care of. But it's not done yet. I'm all sweaty because I was working on that before this. I know, breaking routine, breaking. You gotta have the purple power always on deck. But we're starting tonight off with green zebra. If you've never had a green zebra, protein shake was earlier. Not yet. Or well, whatever. But anyway, we're getting close to the 50 mark. So we'll go ahead and begin the show in just a second here. How's everybody doing? Well, we're waiting for a couple more people to fill in. That's me. Thank you so much. What's going on, Tops? Ole, good to see you. Michael, thank you for coming by. Everybody's coming on. I don't want to hear about it, Whitney, because you're going to back out the weekend before. I'm not going to bother trying to get a ticket because the weekend before you're just going to dip. And you know what? I'm going to be left. I've got so much echo going. I need to grab some of my sound panels. What's green zebra? Well, it is a ghost style ale. So if you've never had a Goss or a Ghost, I'm not for sure how to pronounce it correctly. But it is brewed with watermelon. Oh! Oh! Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you so much. Look, we're not playing favorites tonight, but I'm just saying. Great gifts, yes. All right, so I'll make this announcement. I make this announcement a couple times. During the actual conversations, I do not acknowledge gifts. Try as you want. Try as much as you want. Drop a red carpet. I will not thank you for it. I'm rude. I'm super rude. I'm terrible. I'm so rude. Chameleon piece and just, oh, nice. You did something with a root. Okay. All right, well, we're rolling up on that 60 mark, mostly active viewers. Some people maybe passed by, but it's their loss. It's their loss if they just passed by. It's their loss. Wow, everybody filled in so quickly today. I'm so impressed. This light, it's got the light coming down. It's shining down through. It's just so good. You rallied some folks, Michael. Well, Michael, they've got a lot to see tonight from you. And Michael, you're the only one to get back to me with the email. You touched my heart, my guy. I'm new to this. What's going on? So happy you asked. Let me explain it one more time, and then we'll go ahead and crack right into everything, everyone. So first, a sip. Oh, where's the legendary SpongeBob blanket? So glad you asked. Yes. This is the official Meet Me SpongeBob blanket. Meet Me themselves gave it to me, along with some other rad gifts. But if you want to know, you may think a top badge is the pinnacle of what you can get, everyone. But this right here is the pinnacle of streaming on Meet Me. If you want to get a SpongeBob blanket from the Meet Me, look, it's even got the sticker. That's how official it is. That's how official the blanket is. It's an official SpongeBob. I know you gotta apply for the blanket, but everyone gets denied. Big finger 69. Thank you so much for the sunshine. All right, quick announcement, and then we'll do the announcement. So it's the pre-announcement announcement. Badfinger, let's get you hooked up before I start getting in the mode. Because if I get in the mode, then I can't take care of you like that. You know I gotta take care of you. All right, here we go, everyone. My name is Chris. Welcome to Suited Up. We need background music. What can I play that's nice? How about some Jai Wolf? Do some Jai Wolf, some background music. All right. So Suited Up, this is a show that we do every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those of you in California, Pacific Time, that's 6 p.m. Our Central Standard folks, that's 8. All the other time zones you matter, but I don't know you off the top of my head. Now, what do we do here? I bring on content creators, YouTubers, personalities from Instagram, people who are up and coming on the Meet Me app, top streamers from the Meet Me app. I talk to them about what they do in their personal lives, who they were before they got into content creation, and what they do now to stay successful, stay relevant, and reveal a little bit about themselves along the way. Now, if you want to be on the show, send me a message on Instagram. I'll get you hooked up. Disclaimer, it'll be a hot second before you get on. We like to make sure that things are planned well in advance. And because of that reason, we got a little bit of backlog. Now, I did not do note cards today. I did a nice piece of paper. So maybe I'll just look down and make it go that way. Yeah, I've got you, Andy. All right. On that note, you're your favorite too. On that note, let's crack into those announcements. Everyone, first announcement, save the date for VidCon, 7/11. 7/11. So that's July 11th from 7 to 11. At VidCon, Meet Me is sponsoring and putting on a rooftop DJ light blast and dance and party. You heard me right. If you are going to VidCon, or if you're on the fence about going to VidCon, come July 11th from 7 to 11. You'll get some drinks, some merchandise, you'll dance, you'll see me try and attempt to dance. That could be worth it in and of itself if you like to see people embarrass themselves. Alcohol will be there. Things will be good to go. Make sure that you come 7 to 11 on 7/11. If you have not registered, make sure you do that. If you think you're going to go, make sure you register, because if you show up day of show, day of event, and you have not registered, you can't get in. Nobody wants that. You don't want to be FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't do that. All right, Streamer of the Week. Meet Me is currently doing something from the 20th to the 24th. They're looking for the most creative, the most entertaining, and the best personality. Now, I know all of you have that. I know all of you are fantastic people, but they're looking for the best. So now is the time to put it out there. Wave it, wag it a little bit. What are you wagging? Your personality. Don't get yourself banned. You specifically. All right. So make sure you do some big shakes with that creativity, with that entertainment, and with that personality. What do you win? Why do you want to participate in this? This is not restricted to just top streamers either. This is not a top streamer only deal. This is not contingent on how many diamonds you already have. It's not contingent on all the favorites that you have. Just show up. Show up and make sure that you're streaming from the 20th to the 24th. What do you win? You win a trending boost. So if you are not a top streamer and you place in this contest, you will place immediately after the top 12. So you'll be locked in that lucky number 13 so that you'll have maximum exposure and get lots of views and everybody coming in saying, wow, you're so cool. I'm happy I saw this stream. Well, guess what? If you want to be on that spot, make sure that you get a spot 1 in this competition. Maximum exposure, because we're wagging it. Make sure that you got it up there. Big exposure. Big exposure. Expose yourself everywhere across all of the Meet Me's. Do it. If you are a top streamer and you win this contest, I'm sweaty right now. If you're sweaty, no, if you win this and you're a top streamer, you'll be locked in at the top. So you know where you normally see that number 1 spot? This could be you. It could be you there. All right, what else is going on? Shows. Let's talk about the shows that are on Meet Me. This week is the normal roundup. Monday, we've got Name That Tune with Maddie Sings. You already know what it is. She's out there singing, playing her guitar, giving diamonds out, helping you win prizes and have a good time. Wednesdays, it's Suited Up. That's this guy. That's me. Wednesdays, 9 p.m., we interview and talk to top streamers, up-and-comers, and everybody else that you want to know about on the app and in between. Thursday at 3 p.m., Eastern Standard Time. Remember, all these are Eastern Standard Time. It's Talent Team Thursday. What do they do on Talent Team Thursday? Arguably the most important show to watch because they're going to talk about who's won giveaways. They're going to tell you about rumor crushing. What? Rumor crushing. So all those things that you hear roaming around Meet Me, they address those things. They talk to you about what's true and what's not true. Yeah, truth. What else they do? They announce who got their badge the previous week. So if you missed it, if you didn't know if your friends got a badge or not, and you're being a really bad friend and not watching their streams, you can see if they got it. So check out Talent Team Thursday. It's put on by a fantastic cast of people, the type of people who would send you a SpongeBob blanket as a 27-year-old adult. Those kind of good people. All right, so what else is going on? Fridays, there are 3 shows that happen. All right, this is the night. It's been a long week. Friday rolls around. You're feeling very lethargic. You feel like flopping around. That's the adjective I'm going to go with. You know, when you get home and you just kind of like take off your pants before you even get 2 steps through the door. And like they drag around your ankles and you're like, I'll leave it there. That's fine because I can breathe now. All right, so while you're breathing your underwear is out, make sure that you first tune in Friday at 8 p.m. with Painting with Mia. Now, who is Mia? Only the Bob Ross with the glitz and the glamour. She's out here bedazzling paintings with every stroke. And speaking of stroking, Fridays at 9 p.m., Get Fit with Allie and Ashley. Why stroke it? Because you can do 1, 2, 3. You've got your pull downs. Every strike, every stroke, every motion, make it count because they're going to show you how to get fit. Watch yourself by watching them. Yes. All right. Then let's say it's also 9 p.m. and you're working out and you're like, wow, I am so tired from watching these other people work out and teach me how to work out effectively. What else can I do? Let me tell you what you can do. You can try this with Donna Diamond. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. Donna Diamond takes your dares. Donna Diamond takes your suggestions, and she does them. She does them for your viewing pleasure. She will be miserable for you. What a selfless person. SpongeBob, what do you think of that? SpongeBob's into it. He likes it. He likes that suggestion. So make sure you suggest to Donna something to do on the Fridays. That's what you got going on. Sundays, though. Sundays, it's Unstoppable Idol. That is with The Idol. It's a talent show. This week is the finale. So if you want to see who wins this talent show, check out this Sunday at 7 p.m. There's a couple rad lad judges. This one, he's one of them. All right, so check it out. If you can't get enough If you can't get enough Donna Diamond, though, and you want more of her outside of her streams and outside of her show, and you're like borderline obsessed with Donna, and you're like, wow, how can I be more like Donna? Check out her How to Stream Like a Star segment. That's at the top. There's a top banner, and she teaches you the tips, tricks, and hacks and how to be a better streamer. So go and check that out, the top banner. She does a wonderful job. Fantastic production quality on this. The Stream Wars podcast. Check out some of the old episodes if you've not seen them. Check out the Stream Wars podcast. One of the most recent ones addresses how Meet Me handles security and shuts down that bad content that can be on the app. And sometimes we get some people who are trying to be sneaky snakes. Not today. Not today. They're out here trying to win that exposure contest the wrong way. We're not about that. All right. Before we crack into our first guest of the night, I will run this announcement by one more time. While I do these conversations, much like right now, how I'm not thanking anybody for all these wonderful gifts and treasure drops that you're doing, I become especially ungrateful. It's true. I become especially ungrateful. So ungrateful that you could drop a red carpet and I wouldn't acknowledge it. No Chris clap. You know the Chris clap. No Chris clap, nothing. Why? Because we're having a conversation. We're having a conversation. And we got to make sure that we're staying in focus with them. All right. So repeat, if you're in this stream for the Chris clap and you haven't caught it yet, you're not catching it tonight. We're staying safe. No catching the Chris clap tonight. So here's one. Here's a tease. You know, I can give you a little tease about it. All right. Coming first to the backs. If you like fashion, if you like the glitz and a little bit of glamour, this first guest has the package. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome a longtime streamer on the app. Fantastic, one of a kind, needs no other introduction. One, the only, Miss Ari. How you doing, Miss?
I'm dandy. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's a good night. Look at you.
Look, I got all dressed up and everything, and on my live, people are like, put a tattoo here, put a tattoo here, put one on your neck. Worked out really well.
It looks good.
Right?
For anyone who has not followed comic book culture recently, what is your outfit?
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn, dang. So
I've done a lot of Harley Quinn modeling. So.
Well, we'll crack into that a little bit, yeah? All right. So Ari, flag LBGT fam. You've got a lot of tags. You've got a lot of things going on. Before we crack into you and your streamer life, you lead a pretty adventurous life outside of streaming, which is really where the meat of this conversation is going to be. So let's talk about baby version you. How early did the limelight come and hit you?
You mean like in the entertainment business, or?
Yeah.
I was born into it, actually.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
My dad was like one of the most famous French horn players in the world, and he was first French horn on everything, and like Batman and Family Guy and all that stuff. Was famous in Europe. Pavarotti called him like the best French horn player that ever existed and stuff like that. So I always thought I would play the harp, and I got a scholarship, but I changed my mind and I moved to Japan instead.
Well, that's a whole lot to unpack there. Born into a musician family, you've traveled quite a bit. You also got that scholarship. Now, was the scholarship for the harp?
Yes, it was for Cal Arts College.
Okay. What instrument, if any, is the harp your favorite instrument, or did you grow up playing any other instruments?
I started on the violin, and I think I was like 4 years old when all my family plays instruments, and I finally threw the violin. I was like, I can't take this anymore. Like, this instrument sucks. And my mom was horrified because I threw a violin. and eventually I thought for a while that maybe I would never have an instrument. I kind of knew I would, but I was looking for it, and I was writing a lot in between. And then when I was 7, I told my mom, I was like, I want to play the harp. And it kind of came out of nowhere. And I kind of found my harp teacher and everything, which was like my dad's ex-best friend, which was like a super coincidence. So they bought me a harp like on the spot, and I ended up being really good at it.
Yeah. When you hear about a kid picking up an instrument, it's like, I want to play the guitar or maybe drums. But a harp's big, isn't it? I feel like any time I've seen a harp in a TV show or something, it's very large.
I mean, you could play a lyre, you know, which are like smaller versions, you know, you see them like back in the day. But I chose the harp. Like, I had thought about it for 3 years. You know what I mean? Like, I chose it because of how unusual it is, how pretty it is. And I also thought to myself, harpists only have to go to the orchestra like half of the time. So, and they get paid twice as much.
Really?
So when I was 7, I thought it all out, and I finally landed on the harp.
Why do harpists, is that the correct term, harpist?
Yeah, harpist.
Why do harpists make so much more than the other players?
It's because the harp is a really hard instrument to insure. It's a hard instrument to pick up and bring to places, which you have to do. Mm-hmm. And they can only attend half of anything because all orchestras are not written for a harp to be in it, like just half of it. So when you become part of an orchestra, you sign like your contract away. You know, it's like it's an exclusive signing kind of. Mm-hmm. So you make like a good like $250,000 to $300,000 a year doing that, or something like that.
For a major orchestra.
Yeah, for like an LA Philharmonic, for example.
Okay. How many people exist that do that? Are there very many?
God, I have no idea. I don't know how many like legit harpists are out there, but I once had a harpist come to my house. My mom was like, "Could you change my daughter's strings?" And she was all like, "You can use any string for anything." And she'd never read music. And I was like, "Get away from my harp." I was like, "Don't touch it. Leave it alone."
Now I'm pulling on some information here that I know because I spent some time with you when I was in San Diego. So you and I met, and you shared with me some stories about what it was like growing up. And you mentioned that because of your dad's influence, you got to be part of some pretty interesting social gatherings, not even necessarily just parties. Can you tell everyone a little bit about some of that?
Okay. I would say this has got to be one of the best stories, just from being that child that like had to be dragged everywhere. Mm-hmm. One day, it was the recording of, well, I think you'll figure out the recording by the end of the story, but I was at a recording for my dad. It was like a popular movie, and the stars never show up to the audio thing, you know, so I didn't even think about it. I was just reading a Batman comic book, and I was picked on a lot, you know, for reading comic books and being a nerd and stuff. So I'm in there all alone, and then this guy comes up to me, and like I'm covering my face with the comic book, and I'm like, "Please don't talk to me. Please don't talk to me." And he's all like, "So what you reading?" And I was like, "Batman." And I like covered my face immediately. I was like, "Batman." And then he was all like, "Oh, that's cool. Which issue?" And I was like, 655. And he's like, "Oh yeah, that was the revamp of Damian Wayne, right?" And we just started talking. And I was like, "Oh my God, this guy's cool." Right? So he's all like, after like our conversation dies down, he goes like, "Okay, sorry to say this, but who do you belong to?" Like he literally, I was 9, so I couldn't be there on my own, you know? So he's like, "So who do you belong to?" And I was like, my dad's the first French horn like player. And he's like, "Oh, you're going to be here forever." Well, we're going to be here for like an extra hour. We have our own place with like video games and everything. Do you want to come chill with us? I was like, "Yeah."
You were abducted?
No, it was like
There's 2 ways this story go. It's like a really inspirational, like, "Wow, that's so cool" story, or this is how you end up as an Amber Alert and you find a bag somewhere. Like there's like 2 real severe paths that this story takes.
I was totally the kid that wanted to find the candy truck. Like
Let me into that.
I went with him, and the first thing I saw when I went back there with their video games and everything, I saw Ben Affleck, and then I saw Matt Damon. I was like, "Oh fuck, this guy's an actor." Like, and I looked around, I was like, "Oh my God, this is the acting room where they go to chill to listen to the music." And the guy that came up to me was Kevin Smith, and it was probably like the coolest, like, I don't know, interaction I've ever had, you know, with a celebrity, honestly. Like,
Correct me if I'm wrong. Kevin Smith is from Jay and Silent Bob, right?
Yes. And this was the making of Dogma.
Of Dogma. Okay. So for those of you who don't know who Kevin Smith is, he is a huge comic book buff.
Oh my God, he is.
Loves comic books. He hosts a TV show. It used to be after The Talking Dead. What is it called? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do remember. It was legit where he would like travel to comic book stores and stuff like that.
Yeah. But yeah, Kevin Smith's an awesome dude. So that's really cool that you got to connect with him.
It was amazing. He was amazing for sure. Like super sweet.
But that's just part of your story of what led up to all these adventures. At what point from school do you end up deciding, I think I'm gonna go to Japan?
I just went. Like as soon as I graduated from high school, and I graduated in homeschool because like after junior high, I didn't want to go to LA County School for the Arts because it was such a far drive. So I just decided not to. I went with my sister a few times. So I homeschooled until I was like 17 and a half, and then immediately bought a ticket to Japan and went for like the gap year program and stayed there for 5.5 years.
So for 5.5 years in Japan, what did you do? Take us through like the first 2 years.
Oh man. The first 2 years, the first 3 months technically, because I was supposed to go back home, but I knew that I wasn't going to, like I was going to prolong that ticket. And I went there. I started my first 3 months like in Konda, and which is like a little prefecture in Tokyo. And all my friends were Korean and Taiwanese. Like none of them were Japanese because it was a Japanese language school, you know? Mm-hmm. So like I would spend all of like my time in Okubo, which is Koreatown in Japan, and watch people play, like my friend Sundo play StarCraft, the original StarCraft nonetheless.
Yeah.
Even StarCraft 2 came out. They still play it.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's still to this day a competitive sport there.
So crazy.
A game from like 1997 or 8, something like that. So it's a competitive esport.
98 for sure. Like
yeah. You ended up taking up an interesting job while you were there, which was what?
Modeling. I did. And English teaching. I did both.
Model and English teacher?
Yeah.
Okay, let's pick one. let's pick one to talk about first. So.
I've had both of them. English teaching, I only have like one weird story where a guy fully knew English and was just there to bullshit with me and try to take me on a date. Like,
how'd that go?
That was horrible. Like, I was like, get the fuck off me. And then when I first started modeling, there is a show called Trick. Like you've seen the Japanese trick shows, right? Like,
I've seen the one where they jump through the shape and everyone's like, oh, and they try the shape and they're like, ah, and then they break the foam. I like that show. There's a really good out there of that one.
It's like, you know, Ashton Kutcher's or whatever he did that pranked or punked or whatever. Yeah, it's the same thing. At the time they used Japanese celebrities. I have no idea who it was, but I was pretending to be a director to a really famous Japanese actor, and I pretended not to know Japanese. I just because they told me to. So he'd be like standing there doing his lines. I'd be like, "What are you doing? Looking at the camera? Like fucking look out the camera. Are you fucking not professional?" And then he looked away. I'm like, "Look at the fucking camera!" And like I just came up with shit out of my head. And by the time he was this close, he was like gonna explode like on me. He was like, "Oh!" And then the guy in my ear was like, "Say trick now, say trick now." I was like, "Trick, gomennasai." And he's like, "You do speak Japanese, you son of a bitch."
Yeah. That's good. That's good. So out of the time that you were in Japan, how did it end up coming to the point where you said, "Okay, I'm going back home"?
That's kind of dark. Okay. The reason why I came home is because there was a lot of crazy shit that happened. There's these things called, like, they call them people accidents in kanji, but they're really suicides, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they happen every Monday and Tuesday. I saw one of those in Konda, and then the Akihabara stabbing incident happened. And then my friend Ushan got pushed into the train tracks. And eventually I got a little paranoid.
Yeah.
I felt the need to, like, come home and, like, just recuperate my brain, you know, like mental health reasons. Cause they have shit mental health. Like, I went out there and asked a doctor, like, this is what I'm going through. Can you recommend something to prescribe? He's like, what drugs do you want? I was like, no. I was like, no, you need to tell me how to fix myself. And he's like, he had no idea. So I went home.
Okay, boom. So now you're back in California. And what year did you come back to California?
I believe that was 2013.
Okay.
2013.
So since then, you've had a spark of entrepreneurship, and you have taken on that life. So can you let everyone know what it is that you've taken up and how you got started on your own business?
So I started as a model in Japan, and then when I came home, I realized that, like, modeling here is not so easy for everyone else. First of all, it's nowhere near as easy to model as it's super easy to model as a foreigner in Japan. Like, if you're from another country, you can get away with it as long as you look good. But here, it's really hard. You know, it's hard to find the jobs. You have to do a lot of internet searching. Eventually, I met up with a lot of models that were at the same audition, and we thought of this model circle. And it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually, I was the only one ever doing anything. And then girls were like, why are you doing so much work for us for free? Like, don't you want to get paid for this? And I was like, you're right, I do. So that's how it started. Like, and eventually I put a brand to it, which is Manic Models and everything like that. And I started fashion directing for OC Fashion Week and LA Fashion Week. So it just kind of, like, went on a roll from there.
So in a nutshell, the name of your business is Manic Models. In a nutshell, what is Manic Models? Obviously, the name tells you it deals with modeling and that people come to it, but what's unique about it? What's special about Manic Models?
Well, what's special about it is the fact that it's a talent management company that, like, no matter what your talent is, I can find you a job. Like, and it's paid work. It's not just nothing. I help photographers. I help body paint artists. I help hair artists, makeup artists, everybody, you know, because everybody has a hard time in the industry just finding their way. And I just want to help them find their way. Yeah.
Do you feel like you've had any success with it, or have there been any challenges on taking on your own business that you didn't expect?
Oh my God. Like a ridiculous amount of not sleeping because you're freaking out over an event, or like worrying about a sponsor dropping you because you have this huge thing coming up and they can just decide to say, fuck you, I'm not giving you money at this time. And like, those are like the most stressful. Or when like models drop out. Oh God, those are the worst.
Not a consistent industry.
No, it's not. Actually, fashion is like kind of in the shitter right now. So, but beauty does well, like hair, makeup, things like that.
How would you say Instagram has played into that? I would argue that something like Instagram has now turned anyone and everyone into a self-promoter or into a model. You don't need an agency to have self-branding. You can.
That's so true. That's why I don't understand why models need me. But you'd be amazed at what people don't think of themselves. You get what I mean? And Instagram, dude, that is totally true. But because of Instagram and because of social media, we've actually are better before it. You know, like in the 90s, like modeling was the shit. But right after the 90s, like something happened, everything fell apart, and fashion makes no money whatsoever.
I just want to highlight how beautifully you fluffed around that you said, I don't understand why people need me. They just use me. And it's like you said, I guess I just kind of take advantage of people. I love it. That's great. I mean,
I'm like, you realize
right?
yourself, right? And they're like, but I don't know how. And I'm like, you Google search the shit, goddamn.
Sure. Well, hey, if it's working for you, it's working for you.
Exactly.
So I know that you've done. Is it fair to use the term like high profile or exclusive? You've done some exclusive events, and you've worked with some exclusive people. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, I found out that I found out a couple years ago actually that one of my photo shoots sold to DC Comics.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked for H&M, Uniqlo, a lot of hair things like Euphoria, L'Oreal, Pro Air, and Pro Air is like one of my sponsors too. So
that's very cool. What suggestions would you give to the people who are viewing? There are many content creators or people who are involved or at least interested in social media. What advice would you give some of them as they start to bud or break into this type of industry?
I would say that spend as much time behind Google as you can, like behind searches, and search for exactly what you need and what you want. And don't just go into anything thinking that it's not a scam, because most people in this industry will fucking scam you, which is why I even started this business, is because so many of my people were getting scammed. I'm not a scam artist.
People don't need me. I don't.
I actually put one of the scam artists like into the light. Like there was this guy that said he was a talent manager like me, but he put together an event and like all these girls ended up going to the cops because of it. Like a whole bunch of scary shit happened, and like, wow. I the guy.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Okay.
He's gone.
What have you been up to recently? And well, actually, before we get into the what have you been up to recently, let's dial it back again. How did you find Meet Me?
Oh my God. I was trying. I was totally trying to get laid. That was.
Okay.
I've had Meet Me for like years.
How'd that turn out? No.
It turned out bad. My first girlfriend on Meet Me was a monster. She was like, she stole $2,000 worth of fabric from me, and started dating an ex-boyfriend, and yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts.
Yeah. All right. Well, since they're on here, we'll stay away from that because
yes.
bad sphere of things to dig into. But you downloaded it to explore relationships. Yes. How did it evolve from exploring relationships into something different?
That's actually very specific. I was at LA Fashion Week, okay, and I noticed the live feature. So I went to it and I saw all these, that's like when the badges first came out and everything. Mm-hmm. And I saw all these people that were streaming, that were promoting the brand. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys are promo models. Can you please walk for me? Like, you don't know it, but you're already a model. Can you walk for me in LA Fashion Week? How tall are you? Like, I was just scouting because I was desperate. Mm-hmm. I brought Sue Wong like 70 models and she only accepted 20 of them. So I was looking for an extra 5 that she would say yes to. And I found them on Meet Me as well. And it's funny because I have access to 250 models, but it wasn't enough for her. It was insane. It was crazy.
Who is Sue Wong?
Oh my God. If you Google her, she's like the most revered designer in the world, fashion designer. And I have a scarf from her for when I worked for her, and that's all I got. I didn't get paid to work for her. She's yeah, nobody gets paid to work for her. They get to put it on their resume. And that's how she gets away with everything. She has 6 houses. 6.
I think she's a better scammer than you. I'm going to be honest.
Oh my God, right?
I think you need to take notes.
Seriously though. Fuck, man.
No, that's
people on her feet at one point, begging to see. Oh, it was crazy.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, So you've got this scarf as a memento from the Sue Wong. You started live streaming at that fashion show. How did it build off of from there? How did you end up saying, hey, I think I want to keep doing this live thing on this Meet Me? How did that pick up?
Well, I met people. Like, I met really cool people doing it. I met Holly, and Holly was one of the first people I met, actually. And then I even met up with her, like, shortly after. And I thought to myself, like, I'm a loner. Like, not in the sense of my business relationships, because in business, I can't, like, I don't even want to talk to people unless I have to. Mm-hmm. But when I get alone and I stream, I don't know, it's different. It's not such a hectic environment, and we're all, like, together chilling. So, like, I really enjoy it.
Nice.
Good promotion.
So it's self-promotion and you're building relationships. So that's a win-win. Would you describe yourself as more introverted then?
God, I really don't. It's something I've thought about a lot, at least like recently, because I'm sociable, but I'm also really antisocial at the same time, like introverted. So I guess you would call me an intro extrovert. You know what I mean? Like.
Okay. You're adaptable, and you've got your moods. Everyone's
exactly.
Okay. What do you do these days in your live stream? What can people expect now that they've heard a bunch about you and some other things that you've experienced? What can they expect if they were to come to your live stream?
I've been doing Barbie Fett a lot more. And for those of you who don't know what Barbie Fett is, you've seen it, right, though? I don't know if you have or not. I forgot.
Let's pretend I haven't. Tell everyone what it is.
Okay, it's me in a Boba Fett helmet, and sometimes the costume, but really just a sexy little outfit, dancing to Barbie Girl.
Fully.
Awfully, yes.
Obviously tasteful.
Oh, yeah. I don't, like, wear underwear, but...
Tastefully doesn't.
Tastefully. But I'm, like, really bad at dancing, so I have to, like, get a little drunk.
All right. I'm gonna break show code. Someone in the comments said you were such a good role model, and you immediately segued to this. And I just don't know if it could be better irony. What planet are you on? All right. No. Chris, be nice. All right. No. Okay. So you do Barbie Fett. What else can people expect if they come to your live stream?
And I've got Barbie Fett, Stormtrooper Barbie. Sometimes I play. Hold on, wait a minute. Shock Trooper Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Vader. Sometimes I play the harp when I'm at my mom's house. Sometimes I play the piano and sing. When I play the harp, I always play Zelda. Always. Because you have to. Like, everybody wants to hear Zelda. And I make up a lot of shit as I go.
We'll call it improvisational skills.
Exactly.
So an expert of improv, costume, and music, what are some of the things that you're trying to do from here on out? You've got a lot of sticks in the fire burning. Are you trying to grow your business, live stream? What is it really that you're trying to build or do?
Oh, that's tough. Like, that's actually a tough question that I don't completely know the answer to be honest. It's funny because as I'm building my business, my dad's friend came up to me, and he's a PI, a private investigator that, like, helped with a lot of murders and stuff like that. And I'm really into that. So, like, he gave
murders?
me, yeah, like, he helped crime scene investigations and stuff like that. He helped, like, catch.
When you say that you're into murders, you have to be.
I don't mean it like that. I mean,
like, it's like, hey, you know, what are you guys into? Oh, I like mountain biking. Cool. I'm into murders. So there's like a difference. Like, there's a gap in, like, explaining that.
Very true. I normally feel like people should just read my mind, which they can't, obviously, but
I'm just having a hard time. Oh, I know what you meant.
I think a lot of people
are you into the crime dramas? All the crime dramas and Netflix specials, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. It's like that. I like the the morbid crime stuff because I feel like I can get behind their mindset without understanding it completely.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me a contact to get in touch with forensics and get my license to work for them and everything. So I'm thinking about selling my company, but I'm not sure yet. Only because, and the company's doing well. I just don't know if I want to keep doing it. So
mm-hmm. How does someone just get a paper and says you can do forensics?
I know. That's what I fucking said. Okay, so being a investigator,
I think we're talking to another good scam artist.
Well, private investigators are totally like scam artists. Are you kidding me? That's their whole job, is to like watch people and scam them. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, or figure them out. You know?
I do mean survey them. Survey kind of sounds like scam, but it's different.
It's more like stalk.
Yeah.
It's like stalk. It's like professional stalking.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So moving to the last portion of the conversation, I always like to throw it out to whoever we have on. Is there anything specifically that we haven't talked about that you'd like to bring up? Anything that you're passionate about? Anything that you'd like people to know about you?
Let me think here. I believe that we're all fucking aliens. And that's it.
Do you really think we're all aliens?
I think I am.
Okay.
I think some of us are aliens, yes.
Have you heard of the theory that we're all Martians? That we're all...
I have heard that. I totally heard that.
You're like the type that would believe that.
I don't.
Yeah, well...
I like being that crazy person that says they believe in shit that like totally doesn't. Like
oh god, yeah, stir the pot a little bit. Right on. Cool. All right, typically live. If someone has enjoyed our conversation and would like to know more about you, when are you typically live?
Oof, randomly. But I've been trying to go live every day at like in the afternoons and then at night. So like around 10 o'clock-ish to noonish and like around 10 to 12.
Okay.
Generally.
Okay. What keeps you busy outside of live streaming? I mean, obviously you have your modeling, all that stuff. Do you have any hobbies or anything that you relax to do?
Well, I have Damien.
What's a Damien?
Damien's my son. I named him after Batman's son because I'm gay Batman. And yes, because I'm gay Batman, I named him after my son. And he pretty much takes up all that extra time.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like that's a good thing though to prioritize. Maybe.
Definitely.
No. You did say that you're also interested in murders, so.
Well, I mean, not his.
Right. It's a mix of interests: fashion, murders, private investigation. Right on. Cool.
You never know. That whole thing just came up to me out of nowhere, and I was like, that kind of sounds cool. Maybe I'll switch careers again, which is really bad because I switch careers every 10 years. So, yeah. Yeah.
Times.
It's been about 11
not
years.
Exactly like 70 years old. Like it's not yet enough of a sample group to be like, yeah, we could predict that it'll be 10 more years and she'll switch again. No, that's good. That's good. All right, very cool. Everyone, if you have enjoyed our conversation and you would like to know more about the outfits, antics, models, and travel adventures that Miss Ari has done, please give her a favorite. Go check her out. Be part of her crazy group of people. Love it. Thank you so much for coming on the stream. Is there anything else that you'd like to say before you take off?
I fucking love you, c4sper.
Thank you very much. I'm thankful for. No, I wanted to bring this up. I almost let you go without talking about it. I love you for the fact that you came and saved me when I was in San Francisco, or San Diego, all by myself.
Did
And
you think of San Francisco because I'm gay?
how'd the sun happen? No, that math doesn't check out. Okay, no, you came and you saved me, and you took me to In-N-Out Burger.
Of course, you need to experience In-N-Out in your life, especially when you came here. I had to take you out.
Well, it sounds to me like you have also experienced an In-N-Out at least once. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Ari. It's been a good time. Everyone, please drop her a favorite. I will be thanking you again later, but for now, take care, all right?
Sounds ominous. Thank you.
Very much. Bye. All right. Everyone, make sure that you're giving her a favorite. If this is your first time on the show, I'll explain to you a little bit what's happening. I bring on top streamers, people that are content creators, up-and-comers, YouTubers, all sorts of interesting individuals, and we do interviews. If you are interested in being on the show, we plan out these conversations in advance. Send me a message on Instagram. I'll be happy to figure out something out for you, and we can get this thing going. Our next guest is a bit of a problem. He likes to cause some trouble, and we're going to talk to you all about why in just a little bit. Again, while I have this conversation, everyone, I appreciate all the gifts. Thank you so much to everyone who's been dropping gifts this entire time. I really am thankful, but I'm totally rude when I do these conversations with everyone because I got to focus on the conversation itself. So on that note, please, everyone, giving away the Hollywood magic out here. On that note, coming to the box right now, someone who was resurrected out of a shadow realm to skyrocket into changing the game of how people gift on the app, okay? He's the shuffler, the man himself, the true legend. Check it out. It's not McDonald's. It's Michael. Hey.
How's it going, everybody?
How's it going, my guy? Look at you.
Very well, thank you.
We're 2 for 2 tonight. 2 for 2 so far on Spiffy. In fact, you've got the whole
let me show.
Gangster, Tommy Gun gangster look going on. I like
it. From the Fudo. Hold on.
Oh, yes, sir. Look at Dapper, man. I like that. You're beating me at my own game. I've got the jeans on, so it's
I want you at your own game.
Thanks for coming on tonight. I appreciate that.
For sure.
Yes, sir. So you and I crossed paths not too long ago, maybe 2 months-ish. You have quickly made an impression on the app. You've quickly gained a presence. You can see that a lot of people are fans of you. But I would like to start our conversation off the same way I always do, with taking it back before you even knew what a meet me was. Where are you originally from, and what was... You know what? Let's go for it. What was high school like? What were you interested in way back in high school days?
That was a bad time, but I'll go ahead and go through it. I'll go through it anyways. Let's share my bad experiences here.
Let's start positive.
The positive thing is that I graduated, but the negative thing was that through most of my high school life, I had faced a lot of adversity in the sense that I was kind of a loner a little bit. Sure. And I think I got driven towards that because I was a little bit quiet, and I was hanging out with some people that claimed to be good, but really weren't. Have you ever heard of straight edge?
A straight edge?
No, not a straight edge. It's like a group of people that call themselves straight edge. They don't do drugs. They're vegan. They think that they're somewhat good. They
Someone who's
they claim to be all these things. Well, I kind of hung out with that crowd, and I was made fun of a lot. They used to call me Cold Chilla because I just chilled and I didn't say that much, but that just made it worse.
You said Cold Chilla?
Yeah. It kind of sounds like Coachella.
Oh, Coachella.
Cold it's not Coachella, but it sounds like that.
Not to diminish what you just said, but I think if you were to call someone these days Cold Chilla, that'd be like a compliment.
Right? It'd be like a cool nickname, huh?
That's like a pretty cool nickname. But at the time, it obviously wasn't because it had a negative effect on you.
Yeah.
So how'd that whole circumstance end up playing out?
Well, I made it through high school, and I didn't hang out with any of those people anymore. Mm-hmm. But I went through some rough times after that, probably due to bad self-esteem and whatnot.
Sure.
But let's see, that was back in 1998, so it was like half my life ago. But ever since then, I've kind of had my ups and downs. But for the past about 7 years, I've improved my life a lot. Climbed through IT to where I'm at now, and just making a positive impact there, serving the clients, the customers. I work for a major home healthcare industry. We have several branches across the United States, mm-hmm. and I get like 50 tickets a week, and it's just pretty hectic because I get pulled in a whole bunch of different directions, and yeah.
So you got some serious responsibility on your hands.
Yeah,
which is cool. I'd like to dig into that a little bit more, but before that, IT. Have you always considered yourself to be someone interested in something like that? How did you fall into that as a type of profession?
Well, my dad got a computer probably around like early 90s.
Okay.
And, learned how to play games on there and then whatnot. I think the first game I played was Wolfenstein. Remember that game?
Oh, yeah. It's a good shooter.
Old school.
I think Ari would like it.
So after that, having computers and whatnot, breaking a whole bunch more than I fixed, just learning how they worked and fixing them, I just kind of progressed into, being the family IT guy. And I actually got into the IT field in 2007, starting out as a computer technician, working for a company that made DVRs. So they had a surveillance room. They made DVRs out of computers. They had a video capture card in there. And they were connected via the internet to multiple fast food chains like McDonald's or Jack in the Box. So I'd build these computers and I'd repair the ones that were coming in for, software or hardware issues or replacements, those sort of things.
Yeah. Okay. So, and that's basically led you to where you are now. While you're in high school, something that primarily you had brought up prior to or at least us getting ready for this conversation was that music has been something very important for you. So taking us back to even like high school, what was your musical taste? Because it's definitely evolved into something pretty specific.
Yeah, I would say that growing up, my music taste was more towards hip hop. Mm-hmm. Growing up in Huntington Beach, early years, it was probably more or less like rock and roll because my parents listened to that stuff, having parties and stuff and whatnot. But growing up in Riverside after that and kind of hanging out with the street kids and whatnot, kind of progressed towards hip hop.
Sure.
Like the early 90s, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and all those, Mm-hmm. But then after that, I would say after high school is where I started getting into electronic dance music. Primarily starting out with happy hardcore. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's very, very fast, very fast paced.
But for the people who haven't heard, I guess you just started to touch on it, but can you tell everyone what heavy hardcore is?
Happy hardcore.
Happy hardcore, I'm sorry. Not heavy hardcore. Heavy hardcore.
So it has a basic 4 beat, like, how like house music is. It's about like So it's about, I'd say 160 to 180 beats per minute, but it's that 4 beat, but it's really fast. And they have a lot of happy sounds in it and melodic. And usually the lyrics are about like love, devotion, and just like positive things.
Yeah. Do you remember some of your first EDM experiences, like going to a show? At that time, it was a bit underground. So were you a part of any of the underground scene?
When I was still going, when I started going to raves in 1998, it was somewhat underground. It started to become more commercialized, which was kind of a bad thing for the scene.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I remember several instances where, you know, partying hard and doing things that I shouldn't, but we won't speak specifically about those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I at the time I thought I was having fun, but now looking back at it, it was pretty like deceptive in a sense, because the scene and the people are, you know, getting along, but they're on something to make them kind of like that. You know, it's kind of like an escape.
Mm-hmm. To expand on that just a little bit, a lot of people who are watching right now are possibly in that phase of their life, or they're in it but they don't know it. What were some of the things that you noticed that started to change your direction? Because going a little bit further, I do know that you told me that you ended up making a self-selection out of that type of life because you felt like it wasn't good for you. What were some of the things that you were starting to feel and notice around you that made you say, hey, this isn't where I want to be?
Well, there's been several of those occasions where going back and forth, but it all boils down to each time me being a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ and being able to hear his voice when, in the good times and the bad times, but basically it was saying, you know, it's time to get out of this. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, doing the same thing all the time. And, you know, my life wasn't going anywhere at that period. I mean, yeah, I was working, but I was doing the same thing every weekend, just spending my money on, you know, parties and other things. Mm-hmm. So that being said, just being sick and tired of being sick and tired, and just, you know, just coming to the realization that, you know, I shouldn't be doing this.
Sure. What would you say to someone who's, I mean, do you care to elaborate at all more on what that scene was like and what you liked about it, what you disliked? Because it seems that there was some great positives about the music scene that you liked, but there are also some negatives that you didn't like so much. So what was that tug of war?
So there's the scene is pretty positive. You know, one of the acronyms back then was PLUR: peace, love, unity, respect. There would be people with like a group of 4 people that would have the PLUR, and, you know, promote those happy slogans. So there was a sense of togetherness, and there's one party that's called Together as One. So everybody's there for the music. Everybody's there for certain activities. And I would say outside looking in, it looks like it's positive and it looks like it's something fine. But once if you're really inside and you really know what's going on and you have a keen perspective on your surroundings, it's not really somewhere that's going to take your life anywhere if you're getting involved in the wrong thing. But if you go sober, then yeah, it's more or less a lot better for people.
Sure. Okay. And that led you to more of this IT field, right? So let's speak a little bit more about the positive things that you liked about dance music, because you did highlight quite a bit about what you like about dance music. How has your taste in it evolved, and what role has the music played in your life?
Let me kind of touch on what I wrote down here. Let's see. I think music is amazing because there's so many different styles and genres and instruments, drum machines and software to synthesize tracks. You know, there's so many different creative people out there that can think of millions of different things and come up with a whole bunch of different content out there. So that's kind of mind-boggling to me. But my 2 favorite EDM genres are drum and bass and drum step.
Sure.
Drum and bass is probably more popular than drum step, and these two are very similar. Drum and bass being faster in the sense that it's how many beats per minute is it? I think it's 150 to 180 beats per minute, and it has a fast breakbeat style.
Are there any artists that you would recommend to people that have especially been impactful for you, or that you really liked from that time?
Actually, my friends used to have a group called Dirty Deeds. They're not like super popular, but a lot of the songs that I dance to are from them. I like their style, and I hung out with them a lot. So they made a positive impact music-wise in my life. Tantrum and Desire, Collide, Andy C, Shy Effects. There's just too many.
Right on. Okay. You mentioned and you hinted at something right there. You said that you danced to. So when did you pick up dancing?
When I started partying back in '98. You know, when you're, let's just go straight forward. When you're under the influence of something, there's that heightened sense of courage that you don't care about what other people are doing. You don't care if they're looking at you, and you're just doing your thing, and you're having fun with people and cheering them on as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you still do it to this day, and you've self-described that you've taken a different path. How do you keep it up? What do you like about dance? What does it even mean to you?
It's like a positive release to me. It's also exercise, but mainly it's a positive release, and also it's a form of entertainment. It's a form of art. You know, I like doing it. Other people like seeing it, so it's a good trade-off there.
Yeah. I see the coat coming off.
Oh, it's just getting hot. It's just getting hot.
It's just getting hot. All right. No, I don't know what you're about to do, my guy. I might have to take another button down to cool off. Okay. When did you discover Meet Me?
Actually, I started off on Scout, and I still have Scout.
Okay, Scout. I'm sorry, Scout.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. They're basically the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would merge. But I started on Scout in April 2018. Mm-hmm. And how did I learn about it? Somebody mentioned it to me, and I forget who mentioned it to me. But thanks to that person, whoever you are.
Shout out to that one. They're a real one.
They're probably not even here, but well.
We'll pretend.
I originally joined to make some friends, and if possible, me to companion to share experiences, thoughts, feelings, good times and bad times with. I've invested a lot of time and other resources into this app, and I feel that it holds value because of the connections that I've made. Mm-hmm. I'm motivated to continue to make people smile, laugh, and entertain, and support them in as many ways as I can.
Yeah,
you know, that's just part of my personality. I've always had a gift of encouragement. I like to help people rise up. Mm-hmm. So that's what I try to do when I communicate with people.
So will you talk a little bit more specifically about that, like the types of relationships and friendships that you've made on here?
I would say the most important relationship that I've built so far is with Alexa. Mm-hmm. And I would say that because, you know, we've gotten to know each other, mm-hmm. and, you know, we just have a great bond.
That's awesome. You mentioned in the beginning of our conversation that you had a difficult time in high school. You know, people weren't always the nicest. Right. How do you feel like this app has played into your life in the respect of meeting and connecting with people? Do you feel like it's a good way to do it? Do you find it easier than in real life? Can you pro con it a little bit for us?
I would say it's easier because, you know, in a sense, you're not in front of a lot of people, but it also is good practice when you are in front of other people. So those are the pros. there hasn't been too many cons for me, except for, you know, just like with everyday life, but people's always going to be gossiping or causing drama. But I try to stay away from that as far as possible. And if people start talking to me about it, you know, I try to help them as much as I can, but I can't help everybody.
Definitely. One of the most exciting things for me when I get to have these conversations is learn more about people outside of the app. So we know that you work in IT and that you obviously are active on here. Can you tell us about some of the other things that you do that keep you busy? I know that WRX is in your Instagram handle. Maybe we can start there.
So I bought a Subaru WRX in April 2017. And, you know, I learned a little bit about modding before that. And so I started buying parts for it and having, well, I installed some of them, but having friends or shops install other parts to increase the performance, increase the stability, you know, like different, like racing suspension or what else did I do? Improved the exhaust, tuned it, got more power, put better wheels and tires on it for more grip. I pretty much did almost everything you can do it, and I put a 6 stereo system in it too.
Serious business.
Yeah.
Are you interested in racing? Are you gonna take that to the track?
Not really interested in racing all that much. Maybe like I haven't taken it to the track yet. It's currently down right now, which saddens me, but I have gone on canyon cruises, you know, like around hills and tight corners and whatnot, and, you know, places where there's nice scenery. There's some of those pictures even on my Instagram, but
yeah. Okay. What else? You're into cars and modding, which makes sense because you're interested in IT, and it seems that all that fidgeting and working together would make some sense coming together that way. Do you do anything else? Do you have any other hobbies that you'd like to talk about?
For fun, I like to go-kart racing. That's a good adrenaline rush. You know, the K1 racing. That one's pretty fun. Bowling, miniature golf. Of course, I take my son on all these things because he loves that stuff too. But I'm a kid at heart. I still like to have fun, of course. Went to Chuck E. Cheese the other day. That was fun. But as far as hobbies related to like hand maneuvering skills, don't have that much of a talent for that. So I think mainly my niche is like technology. I used to be very athletic, but I'm trying to get back there.
Yeah. Have you ever considered or pursued anything with music since it's been important to you, and or are you more of someone that enjoys the viewing experience and listening experience?
I like both sides because I used to have turntables and I did used to DJ and I used to spin online.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But then I had 2 turntables for a while, and then I had a controller, but I just got rid of those things. So I didn't have any real time for that stuff.
Yeah.
There's not all that much time in my life because I work too much.
And then you're here. So there's a few main time sinks. Now when I had first met you, you weren't going live as often as you are now. How did you build that momentum or traction to say, I'm going to start going live myself? How did that turn about?
Well, at first I didn't really think that I'd be good at it. And, you know, I just decided to try it because, you know, I built up a lot of connections. Like you said before, and I'll piggyback off that, is that I went out and did it right, and I networked with people. You know, I went into other people's lives, talked to them, built those relationships and whatnot. And then those people, you know, refer me and then come to my live, and they'll communicate there from time to time.
Yeah. What would you say to someone who feels uncertain of themselves to go live, or they're worried about what people might say or do when they go live? What would you say to them?
I would say give it a try. Be yourself. It may be a little uncertain at the start, but you can keep going and keep building off that, because everybody has a special gift or talent that they can give to somebody else. Yeah. And you're going to be able to reach at least one person, and that could be something that helps somebody, do something great later on.
That's true. That's definitely true. What do you do these days in your live streams? What were they like in the beginning, and what are they like now?
Oh my gosh, when at first I didn't know what to do. I was like, so I want to do something a little bit different than everybody, but I didn't really know at the time. So I was trying to find my niche. And I saw other people playing games and doing various different things. But then it dawned on me that that I know how to dance. So I dance to music every once in a while. When I hit a milestone, or when certain people come in, or when people haven't seen it, I'll show them. Yeah. Just to, kind of get them hooked or engage with me and find that connection.
Yeah. Dancing online, I feel like that's coming miles from where you described yourself in the beginning of
and for sure.
Person in high school versus the person who now gets online and dances. Because that's a thing, Right. It's hard enough to get someone to dance at a wedding, let alone alone on a street in front of people.
Well, it's a lot easier when there's nobody around and it's on a screen. There could be hundreds or thousands of people watching you, but you still feel alone in a sense because they're not physically present with you,
Okay, I like it. That basically answers my question. Then is I would be terrified to try and dance online, but I'm not a very good dancer. I was going to ask you what gives you the confidence to do it, or how do you muster that up to get online and dance for people?
It took a little bit of an internal struggle for a little bit, but once I saw that I still remember how to do it and people like it, it starts building that confidence even more.
Yeah. Now, to just play into it a little bit, did mention on here some of the music that you like and how you dance to it. You said that you like to show us an example of all this coming together. So are we going to have a Michael sample here?
Yes.
Let's do this. I like this. All right. What are we hearing so that we know specifically?
This is called Porter Robinson Language. Dirty Deeds remix is drum step.
Drum step. All right.
Yeah.
You got the box and the floor, sir.
Waiting for the beat to kick. Can you see?
Hey.
You can do that.
No, keep it going. I haven't seen the hips before.
Oh.
I haven't seen the hips before. Get it. My face hurts. I'm smiling too much. Yeah. Get some ones in the comments from Michael out here doing the. What is that style of dance called that you just did?
Michael.
Oh, the Michael? Is the Michael shuffle?
The basic, where my feet are moving back and forth. It's called the X step.
The
So
X.
if people really want to learn it, they can YouTube it.
Can YouTube the X. All right. Nice. Okay. So for the last bit of our conversation here, I would like to essentially just give you the floor, and if there's anything that's important to you that we haven't talked about, or anything that you would like to talk about, let's get.
Well, there's some things that I wrote down in response to. Let's see. What was the question? You said, "Tell me something exciting that has happened recently."
Yeah.
Funny story. Live goal, participated. Well, there's something different that I did this past Saturday. So I went live. I was with my son at the diner, and then after that we went to a thrift store. And I was thinking, I can go ask people things in public. So I was at this huge thrift store. It used to be a grocery store. I was walking around there for about an hour and a half, and I was asking people questions like, where is it? What do you think about Trump? If you had a superpower, which one would you want and why? I know the Trump one's kind of controversial, huh?
Yeah, I mean, in a thrift shop, asking someone what they think about Trump.
It just random public. I don't know. And then another one, if you could change the world, what would you change? And then one of the people said, I would just change that people would like each other. So I remember that one. And another question that I remember asking is, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live and why? Another question that we didn't touch on is, what is something most people would not guess about you? The first answer that I had was, if people didn't know me, my age. And I said, what is it? I say this because most people think that I'm younger than I really am. I strongly believe that I'm benefiting from my Asian bloodline. And
it's not a bad.
Let's see. I'd also have to say that most people would not guess how many nationalities that I am. So I'm half Japanese, part Native American Indian, German, Irish, French, and Dutch. And when I tell people these things, they say, "You're the United Nations."
It's
kind of funny.
It's kind of like a smorgasbord, kind of like a whole little pot of things come together, right? But no,
yes,
that's great, pot. Man. One of the last things that I'd like to talk to you about is the VIP/top badge. When did this first become something that you were interested in, and what does it mean to you to either A, be a VIP, or B, be a top badge? And is there one specifically that you want? Just kind of unpack all this. There's a lot that you can unpack when it comes to badges. So go.
Right. Well, spending a lot of money, that would lead me to be going toward VIP first. But I've shown support to many different people because I like them, I like what they do, I like who they are. So those are my main reasons for supporting people. But Top Badge, I've only been streaming for like 3 weeks since last Thursday, and I've received a lot of support and viewer engagement and some loyal viewers. But what top badge means to me is that I have a chance to be more of a positive impact, because there's going to be more people feeling more of that trend boost to say, hey, here's somebody that that's representing us. And, you know, I believe we need more of a positive impact on this app.
So you touched on it there. I would ask, what does being a top badge mean to you, or what makes you unique when it comes to being a top badge? You've described it a bit of like the type of impact that you have on people, the dancing, the positivity. You also mentioned your faith and things like that. So they all seem to be important elements of who you are. So let's play hypothetical. Let's say that you got a top badge. What would be some things that you would like to do with it?
Well, I continue to do the same things that I do, and I think that I would have more of a chance to reach more people. So with that being said, there's a lot more chance to be that positive influence, to be that positive impact, bring a smile to somebody's face, joke around with them, help them to get out of themselves a little bit. Because I believe when I get out of myself, when I stop thinking about myself and I like helping somebody else, it's actually like a two-way street. You're blessing them, but you're getting blessed back at the same time. Like you're pouring into somebody else's life, but you're getting refilled at the same time.
Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about or go over while you're here?
I had all this written down, and it's hard to find on all this text.
I mean, we use that as just get thoughts.
Oh yeah, I know, just as a guide, but it's kind of like touching base on some of the things. Some of my goals are to grow as a communicator. I desire to improve in engaging with others in a meaningful manner, make a positive impact with as many lives as possible, as already spoke about. I live stream to allow others to learn about my life and to learn about theirs as well. Sometimes people need a place to vent, let someone hear about what they've been through. I try to provide an arena where that can be done in a supportive manner. I try not to tell people what to do, but help them to see that they can get through their circumstances. Victories, success, and breakthroughs are celebrated. Any good news is worth sharing and celebrating. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, what the goals that I have and the things that I try to incorporate into my life in stream. So I try to be the same person on stream, off stream, online, offline.
That online versus offline person. No, I think that really hits home for a lot of people. I like to think of each live streamer as like a channel, and that not every channel has to be the same type of content, right? And so each person can provide something different, but at the same time, it's all being provided by me. So I think you've done a great job of defining what the Michael channel is, or what the right? which is pretty awesome. When are you typically live? If people have enjoyed this conversation, they've enjoyed to get you to know you a bit. When can people find
you? Typically, I like to go live after I get off work, but sometimes work gets in the way of my scheduling. So I would like to get off work at 3:30, be home by, 4:15, eat, and then get on.
And this is Pacific time, correct?
Pacific time. West Coast.
Right, so 4-ish. Oh, what? He's like, I used to run with the wrong crowd.
No, this is the M for me, and this is West for the West Coast.
I know he puts on the hat again, right? Okay, so like 3-ish o'clock Pacific time is when they can find you. Everyone, if you have enjoyed this conversation with Michael, if you're looking for positive content in a place where you have the ability to have a platform to be yourself and talk with others and get a favorite, thank you so much, Michael, for coming on. It's been great talking with you, sir.
For sure. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Love you all too. 1 back at you. I turned the comments back on at the last.
Oh yeah,
second.
no, Lex is gonna turn that up. It's good stuff. Good job, man. Good job. I thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, the thing's over, so I'm gonna acknowledge this. Thank you so much for this. Thank you so much, everyone. Please favorite Michael. Please favorite Ari. These are two fantastic people. And we're not even done yet. We've still got a whole nother person to talk to tonight. While we're in this little break here, though, I do want to say thank you again to everyone who was gifting, everyone who was commenting, dropping those hearts and those diamonds. Speaking of, we got one of the show people right here, Mia, and her pedazzle. No more me saying it wrong either, right? So everyone, thank you so much for stopping by. We do have our final guest coming up. Before we bring her in, I do want to say we do this every week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Top streamers, content creators, YouTubers, influencers, people who are up and coming on the app. Find out a little bit more about who they are besides what you've seen in their stream. And please, please, please make sure that you favorite everyone who gets in the box, because they do take time out of their busy schedules to talk more about themselves and get to know you all more. So on that note, we got a real one, okay? She is a little something special, okay? You may have seen her live. You may not have seen her live. But after this, you definitely will be seeing her live. Check her out. It's Miss Tara Jewel coming to the box. Woo!
How are you, dear? Fun.
I'm fantastic. You with your lights and all that good stuff. It's a celebration. Fantastic.
It is.
Ah! You almost, oh my gosh. All right, so for anyone who has not met you before, so anyone who has not talked to you before, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself prior to who you were on Meet Me? We can even take it back to high school.
Prior.
Michael. Let's just say, who was high school Tara?
High school Tara was, at my heaviest, I was 210 pounds.
Okay.
Hi, so like, I didn't really have, like, I hung out with a bunch of bros because they saw me, instead of like, as a female, they're trying to get at, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like a friend thing. And, so I don't know, just being very like insecure about myself. And I also have a scar on the side of my face that I got when I was 11 months old. It was 150 stitches, but on top of being heavy, you know, Scarface was definitely like involved in a lot of that. And I dropped 100 pounds in about a year.
Wow.
So I had a form of like skin reconstruction surgery that I had to go through. Was $10,000.
Wow.
And you have to kind of like rebuild yourself as a person and the esteem and kind of embrace what people used against you as like your strength.
Sure. So what you just said there, that's a lot to unpack and talk.
I know.
No, I mean, thank you for sharing. I think this is a great opportunity for people to hear a story that can positively influence them. About when in high school, you said you dropped 100 pounds. Was this in high school? Was this after high school?
This was after
high school.
So it wasn't until, God, I was 19, right before college. But I just decided like 5 miles a day, meal prep every single day. Definitely a lot of discipline. I kept myself busy with jobs and college and thank God like I had the ability to focus on school because like that's all I had. I didn't really have a social life outside of that. So I did get my scholarships and, you know, I'm able to go to college like for nothing. But at the same time, I wanted to keep busy, so I had 3 jobs, and I actually streamed during my one job with the sensory deprivation tanks.
Whoa.
But I mean, working 3 jobs, school full time, and I still managed to stream every single day. It was definitely tiring. That's why I decided to focus on school. It being my 4th year, I quit all 3 jobs and just decided that I need to put all my attention on school now that they're upper division classes. They're a lot more difficult. Yeah. So that's where we're at. We're kind of getting back into incorporating streaming into the everyday routine, because I definitely took a break. We did wander the broadcasting streets. Okay. We strayed from Live Me a little bit. We did, or Meet Me. We took a little break. It was about 6-7 months.
Before we dive too deep into all of this, I love when this happens. This is my dream, when there's so much to talk about that it just transitions and it flows and it goes. But there's a lot of content in the things that you're saying. And this is what I get most excited about when doing this show, is that we have an opportunity to dive deep into those experiences and things that you've gone through and really get inside your mind and what's happened. So even rolling back to, you said that you had changed your mindset. I know we're taking it back to, you said college and the job and all that kind of stuff. But you said you changed your mindset. What would you say to someone who was in your old position where they were feeling insecure about themselves? What would you say to that individual to be able to turn it around and say, you know what, I'm gonna make this change, because you seem to be in a better mindset about things. So what would you say to someone who's at that point yet where they haven't made a change?
I would definitely have them find their focus point, find their reason or their motivation to, want better for themselves. If that's not their want, you know what I mean? If it's just I want to live a good life, do it for something that you love, kind of thing. I personally did it for my people when I started streaming. It was a little after. It wasn't necessarily I didn't stream as soon as I, got out of high school. But it was at that point where I kind of went full throttle with it, everything I did. So I didn't get 3 jobs until after streaming, until, I changed my major from cellular and molecular biology, marketing, because I like the social aspect of the sciences and stuff, but just working in a career that's more people driven rather than punching in numbers. I don't know, I'm talking to people, and that's all streaming is really marketing yourself. So it definitely opened my eyes to what I wanted to do, future career. And that was kind of my driving force. So that's what I wanted to do. And I found that through Meet Me.
You said you were working 3 jobs. You said you were doing school as well. How'd you sleep? I mean, what was driving all that? What was the motivation to stay that busy?
A lot of caffeine. It wasn't, it was pretty bad, but Fridays, there was one day or 1 week out of the month where I would work throughout the weekend, about 22 hours each day, and I would stream throughout it. Because if it wasn't for the streaming, I wouldn't have the energy, you know what I mean? It gives me kind of a push, you can't slack off, you know what I mean? At least talk to your people in between these breaks where I just want to sleep for 12 hours, you know what I mean? I just get off. I don't want to go to work in 3 hours. Instead, I would literally stream.
Wow. It was
yeah. So a lot of caffeine.
You forced yourself to not stop. It was nope, you got to keep going. Wow. Incredible.
But it was fun. you know what I mean? Like doing it with my people, like at least, you know, and I'd have people that stayed up like with me, like Turbo. Last stream, we stayed up to like for 8 hours for one stream. He was there start to finish, no break.
You got some die.
But like I had people that stayed up with me.
Yeah. So you've got some loyal people. You mentioned that you started on a different platform. That's fine. We can talk about that. I'm interested to know even how you even discovered live streaming was a thing, and then why did you decide to take it up?
So I actually downloaded the app. I mean, I've always had Meet Me. Like we had it as little middle schoolers trying to get alcohol from older people. Like it was never, you know what I mean, anything live streaming related. And somebody had messaged me on Instagram and told me that there was a fake profile of me on Meet Me. So I actually downloaded the app and I just kind of stumbled across the live portion. And I was actually a viewer when I first started. Like I would give people, and people were questioning whether or not I was real. So like I'd have to go, I think there was 2 people's boxes that I actually went into. But like I finally just went live for my first time. I had no idea what I was doing. I literally was trying to paint my nails.
When about was this? That first time? Like we're talking a year ago? How long ago?
Oh, it's been over a year. Probably like a year and a half. But I went live for my first time, no idea what I was doing, but I'm really good at talking. So like, you know what I mean? That's what it is. You always have to keep it going. You can't have the awkward silences. And like I filled those in because I'd get nervous and I'd keep talking. And my first live, I had 1,400 views. But I have people like to this day from that first live that I still have contact with.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Which leads to the next question, which is, since you started live streaming, what's happened? Has it changed your view on anything? Has it impacted you at all?
I mean, aside from, you know, career paths, it's definitely taught a lot of life lessons that I probably would not have gotten out of it. But like the internet just in general is becoming a lot more like incorporated in everyday life. And when I thought of live streaming, I thought of like Instagram Live, Facebook Live, that it wasn't really, you know what I mean, something someone could do as a job. And aside from like YouTube, of course. But for me, it like, I don't know, it wasn't super big on, like it didn't really mean anything to me. But now like the friendships that I built through the app, like I would not have met the people that like I have my friendships and my bonds with without the app. Like giving it, you know, the source, like Butt Scratcher or Maddie or Turbo or any of these people, even people like across the country.
Sure.
I don't even know if I could say his name. His username was really inappropriate. But like from Australia. But it's definitely helped in that aspect. And it's difficult at the same time because while I'm going through like this live streaming phase and I'm like absorbed because I like fell in love with it, on the other hand, my parents really didn't understand the internet, the whole you need to be social, and to be social you have to go out. And when I'm like drinking in my room with my phone, they kind of see it as like you're depressed, like you need to get out of the house. What are you doing? You have no friends. And to me, it's like this is kind of like my form of socializing in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're not here, but I've met a ton of people, some from this application, but just on all platforms, You know what I mean? And it's definitely interesting to learn people on and off camera.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
You really struck a chord with me when you said alone in my room drinking alcohol with my phone. You must be depressed or something, because sometimes I remove myself from the actual idea of what this is. I'm like, am I okay? Like, am I okay?
Like, I'm talking to myself in my phone, just drinking, tasing myself. Like, what are you doing with your life?
Right. Well, and
but there's other people with me in spirit.
Right. And they are here. They are here. There are real people here. You're real talking to me right now.
Donna Diamond, actually, I think, because she's in town right now, I think we're trying to get a bunch of streamers together on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And do something.
When you say
Daddy J is also in town. So it does actually, like, you do meet these people, I promise.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you say in town, are you talking California or are you in a different state? Vegas. Oh, very cool. Yeah, Donna, side note, told me to have you text her. But yeah, that's on the side.
I did text her.
Oh,
yes.
Good. Okay. Then I'm late to the party. What are you doing as far as your marketing path? You said that social media and this type of platform has changed your entire direction as far as school goes. What are you hoping to do long term? Are you trying to stay the streaming path, or do you see a different type of path?
I definitely think that it's kind of more not narrowed, but also at the same, like, opened. Mm-hmm. Like, my career, like, not necessarily what I want to do, but like what I want to be around. Mm-hmm. But maybe like digital marketing in a sense, but you know what I mean? You can do that through social media, like broadcasting and live streaming, and incorporating that to like any business that you have. Mm-hmm. Regardless of which way I go, I think that like broadcasting will always be a thing, and it's a great way not only to market yourself and get your name out there, but for whatever you stand for, you know, whether it be moral wise, if it's a product, if it's a business, anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. What have your streams evolved into? You've been doing it more than a year and a half now. What do you do these?
Creative shit show would probably be the best explanation for it.
Are you being attacked by wrapping paper, like packaging?
No, I was trying to make the baby shark.
Oh.
Animal. So
didn't work out.
That's what I've been doing this entire time, and I've popped many balloons.
You've been
but I don't know.
Blowing up balloons and dealing with.
Well, what?
Yeah. You can make balloon animals?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. No. I haven't successfully made one, but you know.
Trying.
We're trying.
Okay.
That's all that.
So you attempt to make.
But like, well, like not last week, just like 3 days ago. Last weekend I decided to go to Walmart and just basically go for everything that kids would go for. And I mean, like, I'm an adult, I can have a drink, so we made it like fun.
Mm-hmm. What?
Not heavily intoxicated. We were still, you know, sobriety was there. Well, I mean, yeah, at the store too, but like.
Okay. You know.
I was not. Yeah, and I went live with my friend that I met through a different broadcasting application, and I actually brought her here. But we decided to do like a dual stream. It was a mess, but it was fun. It was a fun mess. But we've done like previous. Tarot was a little more dangerous. Not dangerous. Risque. And we would like tase myself. We basically like
Did
push
you say you
ourselves.
tased yourself?
And punched glass like boxes with fire extinguishers and like sprayed them in the bathroom. Like there have been
you live streamed yourself tasing yourself?
We have the screen records, but yeah.
How do you get to the point where you say, all right, you know what would be a good idea? Let's see.
All you have to do is say no balls. Just say no balls, and all of a sudden, like...
Wait, that's a thing?
Hashtag turn into a new internet personality that I've never met. Jerry?
Okay. Yeah. That's an unexpected turn. I mean, I understand taking shots or maybe even live streaming at the store or something like that. But tasing is viewer discretion advised. Do not try this out.
It wasn't that bad.
Oh.
I mean, it's not like a full-on like police taser. It's like, it's this. We actually found it like 2 days ago and we just charged it. But it's a little one. It's a little intimidating. I'm not gonna lie. The first round, I did fall off my bed.
Okay.
But it's like refreshing in a way when you take a cold shower to wake yourself up. It's a little different. Sometimes we take things to the extreme.
Are you
no regrets?
This is probably the most obvious question I could ever ask you, but are you like a thrill seeker? Do you?
I think I'm just stupid. Sometimes, maybe not stupid, just easily influenced. Like no balls, telling me no balls. Like I feel like I've got to prove not only to them, but like myself. Like how far can we push the limits of TJ?
I don't feel like that story goes well. Like that story doesn't have a good ending ever. I'm
still here. I mean, like we're in college and we're doing life and shit. We haven't died yet. I kind of want to refund at least like 50% on my tuition. Because I feel like as the years like progress, like I was just willing to do more like out there activities, stunts. College is stressful, and sometimes you got to take off the edge, tase yourself. Don't do that, please don't listen.
I've had to do something to take the edge off. I feel like in the list, tase myself is not like at the top. Like it doesn't go have a drink, tase myself, get a back rub. You know, it doesn't fall in the sequence of how things happen. But you know, to each their own.
Okay, but keep it okay. You gotta think of the atmosphere. Like if you were like with your friends hanging out, and like your attitude changes a little bit, then it's kind of like your alter ego. Like I'll show you, and then I did it for.
So you like dance music? Great.
So I like dance music?
You like dance music, I understand. Yeah. Dance music's nice. Okay. Do you have any plans coming up?
Finishing school. I definitely want to go to a streaming get together like VidCon or Playlist. Something to that extent at least once before I settle down into a steady adulty-ish life, you know, to where like maybe my heart can't stand being tased, you know, or my lungs can't tolerate fire.
I'm laughing because I said, so you like dance music? Do you have any events planned? And you were like, yeah, I'd like to go to VidCon. What I meant was, are you going into any concert?
Oh, are you talking about like festivals?
Yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Oh, no. We just went to actually, Tech 9. My dad, so me and my dad have this thing where at least once a year we go to a concert. And actually when they had Route 99, the shooting in Las Vegas, I actually had a ticket to go. But instead it was my dad's birthday and I had sold it. And I took him to California for, I think, all West hip hop, like a whole festival instead. So we do a lot of that because my mom, she hates that music and I get dragged to it because he doesn't want to go with my mom because she's miserable. And I slightly enjoy it. So
yeah,
it's better now that I'm legal to drink. Because we did go to a Snoop Dogg concert one time and the old guy next to me went to hand me a joint and the look on my dad's face, and I was so disappointed that I was not old enough to do it. But now I am, and at the Baby Bash concert I did smoke weed in front of my dad. What? It's legal in Vegas though.
Tasing yourself, marketing, smoking in front of your dad.
I know, it's a weird mix.
Quite the mix.
It's I'm like a gremlin. Don't feed me after midnight.
Go wild. It's just a lot. I'm learning so much more than I expected. As we move into the last portion of our conversation, is there anything specifically that is important to you or that you're passionate about that you can share with us?
I think for anyone that wants to go live, or is discouraged that they don't get the views or diamonds that they expect right off the bat, there is a viewer for every streamer. So just because, you like this kind of content doesn't mean the other person. And I promise no matter what your content is, there will always be your people. Don't give up. You just got to be consistent. There were times where I've literally been, 5-6 hours and nothing, you know what I mean? But you just have to keep going because I promise there are people that are going to run into you that otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to come across you if you just gave up. So if streaming is something that you want to do, and it's not for everybody, but if it is, just stay consistent. It is a little discouraging sometimes because people don't realize the courage that it takes to stream. Because, we get a lot of comments. We get the trolls, the harassing, the awkwardness, how to handle certain type of people, different situations, where therapists, is in a sense our viewers are therapists kind of thing, but it's a lot than just going on and talking to a screen. Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people realize that when they go into a stream. But keep in mind, if it is, don't be discouraged. Just go for it. Your people will come to you.
Sure. Very good. Very good. Very good. If people have liked this conversation and they're interested in learning more about you or seeing more of you, when are you typically live?
Now that finals are over, I've been going a lot. I try to go at least 3 hours at night, but also in the morning as well. Because I have my people come in at a lot of different times where they work and they don't. That way, I have the opportunity to see everyone. But now that school's done, I'm just focusing my time on streaming because I'm not taking summer classes. I'm just taking a break after the semester. So that way I can kind of start incorporating it, getting a job, and kind of like finding a balance between it all. But I'm completely off, so it's probably going to be like 13-hour stream. So it's going to be a lot of me.
So chances are that if someone favorites you now, they've enjoyed our conversation and they want to see just how poor of a choice or great of a choice you're going to make in your live stream, then give you a favorite, and chances are they're going to see you live.
Yeah, just learn from Tara. I go through it so you guys don't have to.
You go through it so other people don't have to. Okay.
I'm like a martyr.
A question I haven't asked tonight, which I normally like to ask. Michael, we did a little bit with. But what for you does it mean to be a top streamer? What does that embody or mean to you?
A lot of responsibility, because you are kind of setting standards of what is expected of you as a streamer, how you act, how you respond to things, because in a sense you represent the app. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because clearly like the quality's good, and you're kind of put as a role model, and kind of not only of course for like friendships, but to help out other people that want to be streamers. Like Luca came into my stream. I mean, he didn't even go live, and now he has his badge, and he's like, Terry, you were the first top badge. It's kind of like we're like the GPS system. Mine might be a little bumpy, but like if anything from my live stream is just to have fun. That's it. You know what I mean? Like it's not anything like you have to meet a quota, anything like that. It's purely like just have fun with your people. Yeah.
So that's a good summary. I like what you said, that we're kind of like the GPS. That's an interesting way to paint it. That's neat. Awesome. Well, I feel like there's so many more things that we could talk about. I feel like you got something up your sleeve, but maybe we'll have to save it for a battle or next time. Everyone, please, if you can, if you've enjoyed this conversation and you want to know more about Tara or see what kind of choices under, what type of influence they are, please drop her a favorite. Let her know what's going on. Give her a hello, all right? Thank you so much, Tara, for coming on. Be safe, please.
Always. We wear helmets, padded helmets, and
helmets, pads, and a bunch of rad lads.
Bubble wrap, animal balloons. Good. Doesn't necessarily protect us from like danger, but we feel safe.
What?
With unicorn, they're unicucks butt scratch.
Oh, you're not talking. Okay, I was very confused what you were talking about. But no. Thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate you talking with us and
You're the best, Chris.
That's very nice of you. Thank you very much. All right. Well,
you guys should take notes. The fact that he's trying to create this positive environment. I wish I could be more like Chris. The way he handles things is very professional. But he's definitely trying to make the Meet Me community more positive and like interactive, to where it's an actual community and not like a high school where it's cliques. So take notes, guys. He's going to be the face of Meet Me in 10 years. But we're going to get off. We've got a...
No, you're doing okay. I mean, this is perfectly fine. If you want to keep talking like you are, that's cool with me. No. That was really nice what you said. I really appreciate that. Thank you. No, I mean, the goal of this is to share the story of so many of the streamers and content creators, because when you're live, there's so many comments. Focus in on one person and respond to just them and dig into all it is that you have to say. It's quick 30 to 40-minute conversations where you learn about that person. It makes it much more personal. You can have more of a connection. Like one experience that you shared of feeling that insecurity and then going through a body transfer, and who would have known? I mean, we didn't even talk about your cosmetic skills and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's so much more to unpack, but
yeah, just, I mean, different perspectives, I think, brings like more of an open-minded, tolerable community, welcoming of others. Just trying to make the world a better place, guys. One taser at a time.
The police. No, it's the police - Tara. Making the world a better place. One time. The police in Tara. Good.
Yeah, that right before the 21st birthday.
I think that's the best kind of way that we could leave this conversation.
Absolutely. We're gonna go. So we've got some balloon animals to make. Love you, Chris. I will see you around. Maybe versus once in a blue moon. Everybody else, it was rad.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on, Tara. Elf, thank you so much for the let's get some tunes going here. Hang on. While we do the wrap up here, because you know what time it is. It's time for the wrap up, which means we talk not only about what else is going on, but who's coming on next week. It's always a surprise. It's supposed to be. Someone spoiled their slot. Who wasn't supposed to? It's all right. It's all right. Anyway, though, much love and huge thank yous to Ari. Much love and huge thank yous to Michael, and huge thank yous to Tara, who I learned a whole lot about. I learned a lot about everyone, but I did not know she did most of those things. Thank you so much for the lemonades. Those are lemonades. The first time I saw those, I thought they were iced teas. Turns out they're tequila shots. It's hard to tell because of the size, you know. One more time, everyone, thank you for the gifts. I really appreciate it. I know I come off as rude and cold when there's all these comments flying and these gifts going. I really appreciate it all, and I do see it, even if I don't acknowledge it. Like that UFO. You know how hard that was? Come on. All right, so everyone, on that note, let's talk about who we have next week. Let's announce them. So, next Wednesday, another Suited Up. We've got guests. Now, the first person we're announcing is someone that I got close to at Playlist. Someone who recently acquired their badge and they weren't slotted when I scheduled them as the badge. They were slotted as the up-and-comer. But you know what they went and did? Between the time that they got slotted on the show and the time that they appeared, they got their badge. The first person we're announcing is is Unique Shonda. So if you guys know Shonda, she's going to be on the show next week. She was slotted as the up-and-comer, much like Michael was this week. Shonda is going to be on the show. She's fantastic people. I had a great time with her and Gabe and Ben and Jer and a whole crew at Playlist. Speaking of, the next person that we're going to announce, there's something special about her. You could say she's got a certain charisma, that she's charismatic, is going to be on the show next week. So if you've not known or gotten to know Charismatic, next week's a good time to find out a little something about her because she's going to be on the show. So we've got Shonda, charismatic, and finally, the last person, this last person that's coming on, he was like, wait a second, I thought I was on. No, he is a great friend, someone that is honestly a beacon of a personality. And if you've not fallen in love with him already, you will fall in love with him because there's not many people like him. He's Foxy because he's the only Jer. Jer Fox is coming on next week, everybody. So one more time, we got Shauna, Charismatic, and Jer Fox all coming on. It's a big week. Next week is a big week. Do not miss it. Thank you all so much for showing up. Thank you all so much for the gifts. Thank you all for putting me so close to 6.7. And also, after this, Idol, do you want to hop in the box and make that announcement, please? There's another recap coming on for Unstoppable Idol. Oh, that's a no. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. We will be revealing after this who will be coming back who got eliminated on Unstoppable Idol for the Sunday. So this Sunday is the finale of Unstoppable Idol. It's a talent show. Wicked cool thing that goes on every Sunday. Make sure that you check it out. Please favorite Marquise Evans. You can find him in the chat. Thank you for the tequila shot, Jans. Thank you for all those shots. All right. On that note, big thank you to everyone who showed up, all the conversations, the people who came out. I will be seeing you tomorrow. But until then, much love, happy streams. I'll be seeing you then, all right? Bye.